This is an amazing lesson on how to take a simple Crayola marker, water-based marker, and turn it into watercolor paint. So a lot of people don't have watercolors at home. Sometimes I'll pull out my little watercolor set and we'll need this for something. But if you don't have watercolors at home, you can actually use these and turn them into a very painterly looking piece of art. I'm going to show you how to do it. Check this out. If you can get yourself a piece of paper or something a little thicker than paper, maybe some cardstock. Here's the thickness, a little cardstock might work good for this. We're going to do a quick picture of a watercolor galaxy. So I'm going to take my bowl. You can do a circle, you could do a square, whatever shape that you want. I'm going to go ahead and trace myself a circle using this bowl. You see that there with my pencil? And then at the bottom, I'm going to make a simple little line. This is my mountain. And all up here is going to be my painty area. So real quick, just so we can make this into a picture and not just watercolor blend, I'm going to go ahead and go over my mountain. You can do this or not, it's completely up to you. Make a little mountain here. I've got a tiny little tree in the foreground. Just this little scribble can be a tree. Just quick and easy. I'm taking my black permanent marker. It's important that you're using permanent marker if you don't want it to blend. So I'm using a Sharpie. Crayola markers are water-based and they blend really, really well. Sharpie is going to be permanent and it's not going to blend, which is perfect for what I'm using it for this particular project. So I'm just making a couple trees. They're just really scribbles if you look at them close up. Not much to it. But if you look at it from far away, my goal is to make them look like they're trees. But it's a good trick, especially if you're short on time, if you want to do a quick little project. And my mountain here, I'm going to make just some lines to make it look like there's some shadow on the side of the mountain. So I'm just making some quick little parallel lines inside some patches on my mountain, trying to make it look like a little mountain scene. Doesn't look like much yet, but we're gonna get there. And it's important to do this part first if you want to have any detail to your picture, because next we're going to add color and then we're going to add water to our marker. We're going to treat it just like paint. Okay, so I think I'm happy with that. That's kind of interesting. Maybe put some little marks here just so it's not perfectly white. Now, I've chosen some colors already. You can use whatever colors that you want to. I kind of like these because I think when they blend together, they look really nice. So I'm going to take this one. This is called Raspberry. And I'm just going to color some zigzag lines here, up and down, up and down. Really quickly, I'm just throwing this color together. Right next to it, on the top of that rather, I'm going to use some purple. High, low, high, low, high, low. So it's not a perfectly straight line going across. Perfectly straight line might be too perfect. And you know what I mean about perfect in art. It's not, it's kind of boring sometimes. Those imperfect things are often much more pretty. Now I'm gonna go rim the outside of my circle or whatever shape it is that you use, and I'll fill in the rest with this blue color. And I'm just quickly filling it in, staying inside my lines. Notice I didn't go very, very close here. I will eventually fill in this white spot when I pull out my water. So again, you don't need paint for this. This looks all right, but I want this to blend. I want this to look like a nice blendy sky. So what I've got here is I've got some water, clean water. There's no color in this water at all, and a brush. Any brush will do. And I'm going to get a little bit of water on my brush. I'm simply going to wet the marker. And look at that already. It's acting just like paint. I'm bringing it down nice and carefully close to my mountain. If you run out of water, you can add a little bit more. Now my goal is to get rid of this line. I don't want there to be an end of the purple and a beginning of this raspberry. I want to blend these colors. So I'm going to take my brush and I'm just going to go do a couple little watery swirls right on top of it. Look at that. It's already blending just like paint. Isn't that cool? It's so awesome. It's such a great trick. I'll bring this up, wet the rest of it. And the same thing with my blue. I don't want there to be a line of blue and then a line of purple. I want them to blend. I want them to mesh into one another. So again, I'm going to wet my brush. And I'm just going to paint very carefully over my marker. And already I love it. I'm going to leave it. You could fool around with this and blend it all together and make it look really interesting, but kind of digging this the way it is. It's got a little shine on it, so I'm going to hold it to the side. Doesn't that look like paint? And I'm holding it up, and now it's dripping. Ah! If that happens sometimes, it's good to have a paper towel near you, which I don't. I'm just going to blend that with my finger and get rid of that. Now, when this dries completely, I'm going to go ahead and maybe take a silver Sharpie or maybe some white acrylic paint, and I will make some little dots on there to make it look like there's stars. I can't do that right now because it's wet. And I'll probably kill the Sharpie. Let me try it. Ding. Ooh. Tiny, tiny, tiny. Let's see if it works. Some little stars. Okay, it's not too bad. I'll make some little stars in my sky. And I've got my galaxy. Okay. What do you think? Quick, easy, and you don't need paint to make it look like you're painting. Keep that trick tucked in the back of your head because we're going to need this again at some point. But here is your quick and easy, beautiful galaxy painting. I hope you enjoyed this, and we're going to use this again in our next project. So hang on to those markers, hang on to that paintbrush, and hang on to the water. We're going to be using it next class. See you then.